Selamat sore. Yeah. So I'm very honored and pleased to be with you and also to meet with students of this London School of Public Relations. Thank you for the invitation extended to me to speak at the end of this whole wonderful journey to navigate the secrets of creative communication during crisis. I'm by training a diplomat. It's a bit boring occupation, but we are also making our own living from one crisis to another. Of course, we do not love crisis, like what Yoko has just stated. We are not in full love with crisis, but we are always at the forefront of battlegrounds, and we are dedicated to address whatever challenges are coming from crisis. We are trying to prevent crisis from happening. Also, if and when crisis take place, we are mobilized to address and overcome the crisis. And also, after the crisis, we are also mobilized to be putting our resources into rehabilitation and recovery and whatever remedies that might be in need. And as a foreign service officer, I've been going through several crises, but today, because the title of this, this wonderful event is Creative Communications Through Crisis, during crisis. So let me just give you some ideas on how communication is befitting into our diplomatic world. One is this photo. It was the G7 summit in Quebec, in Canada. This year, Canada has hosted G7 summit. G7, US, Canada, UK, France, Italy, Germany, Japan. This one photo says everything. You know, what you can get from this photo. G7 summit was a great success. It's a total failure, yes. This one photo speaks more than 1,000 words. And this photo actually been released by the German Chancellor's office. There are so many other photos depicting the G7 meeting this year in Quebec, but somehow German Chancellor's office, Chancellor Merkel's office, has picked up this photo as a kind of snapshot of this year's G7 summit outcome. So, what you can see is the kind of lack of communication, the posturing and body language of Chancellor Merkel of Germany and President Macron, here, yeah, I don't know, of France, were very much aggressive. And Prime Minister Abe of Japan was a bit standing back with his arms folded, and President Trump, oh yes, don't point at me, yes. Yeah? But they all kind of this surrounding President Trump. So I think this is kind of the one aspect of communication. There's one photo is much stronger and impactful than joint communique of G7 summit, much stronger than the press release by any of the G7 member states, and much sometimes penetrating, much more penetrating than the press conferences. So that's why I think this, you are really studying a very important area of sciences, and you are also learning on excellent skills to be excelling in this field, I believe. Yes, you may remember another historic summit that took place in Singapore in June. It's the first ever meeting between the US president and the leader of North Korea. And you can see two pictures. Probably you may have seen the photo at the bottom. Smiling, two leaders. Two leaders are smiling, especially Chairman Kim of North Korea. You might have not seen the upper one, which is they don't smile at all. Yeah? Very stiff and very tense. They don't talk to each other. But the photo that was released by the White House is the bottom one. Because they wanted to make this whole US-North Korea summit be portrayed as a big success, because summit meeting went well. And after that, Chairman Kim of North Korea just walked side by side with President Trump. And so hopefully we will have another second summit meeting between US President and Chairman Kim. It's a very historical moment, unprecedented one, and also is a good platform for those stakeholders like South Korea, North Korea, US, and China to engage ourselves in putting more kind of the fertile grounds toward the peace process on the Korean Peninsula. So this is illustrating the aspect of choice. Choice you can make in delivering whatever messages in this communication war. Yep. This is the photo taken at the Peace Village, where this first inter-Korean summit meeting between my president, President of South Korea, President Moon, on the left side, and Chairman Kim of North Korea in April, 27th of April. And what I want to emphasize is that, of course, this is an unprecedented setting, but the communication, the quality of communication can be upgraded or downgraded depending upon the setting. This is not unusual setting for summit meeting. Of course, the South and North Korean leaders do not need any interpreter because they are using the same Korean language. But intentionally, the protocol people have put this very unusually casual chair and kind of patio table. Maybe some of you may have at the veranda or the terrace at your house. It's a very simple one. It's kind of the wooden bench with a such folding table. But that has really made the conversation between the two leaders going much smooth and also more informal and perhaps and hopefully more candid and frank, rather than be sitting inside very grandiose, spacious room where all the staff and attending officials were watching them. So it's another way of upgrading communication impact when you will be running, whether it's a PR company or the communication firms. Lastly, yes, I represent a country where BTS and Super Junior are born, yes. So this is a photo taken inside the hotel suite where President Jokowi and Ibu Iriana were staying during their state visit to Korea this September about 4 months ago. I was there with the presidential delegation, and this photo speaks much louder than any of the summit meeting photos with President Moon or President Jokowi's speech at the business forum. This has the largest click view from millennials from both Korea and Indonesia, because President Jokowi and Ibu Iriana were together with Super Junior, the idol group. So that is again emphasizing the need to be focused on social media and also at the same time millennials. So some of the discussions were related with how to handle or how to address the kind of millennial generations in communication. So this is quite a very impressive photo that has been well received by the young Korean people and also Indonesian friends. So let me just stop here, because I'm not a kind of the presenter. I just want to say a few words at the closing. But what I want to say is that, well, this communication is at the heart of diplomacy, and communication is at the center of everything. So that's why I think this LSPR is really pushing for this ASEAN Public Relations Network, and also I think this is a good initiative to be focused on SPOT, and I wish the very best for this whole initiative taken by LSPR, and thank you so much.